Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in and welcome to episode 3, which is part 2 of our walk with John Hall, Certified Home Inspector. Today, John Hall will be walking through the first story of my home and explaining the process of a home inspection.
Never been up there.
Well, and a lot of homeowners never have. If it's not an attic that is designed for storage with an easy access, most homeowners have never been into their attic. They have no idea what's going on up there. When I go into an attic, if it's accessible, and sometimes just by structure, or maybe there are things that are built in that I can't get to it, maybe the access is too small, I can't get into it. But if I can, I do. And when I get into the attic, first of all, I'm looking at the structure, the rafters, and the roof deck material, the type of insulation, the depth of it, and whether it's a recommendation for enhanced R values so that the home can be thermally efficient. But I look for any indication of leakage, because sometimes of being up on a roof, the shingles may look okay, but just the other day we had an inspection where the roof looked okay, but got into the attic, we could see areas of moisture on the roof deck material. So it was leaking somewhere, traveling and getting down, but it was visible from the attic. So it's very important that if I can get into the attic, I do.
How often should I, as a homeowner, go into my attic?
Probably at least maybe once a year, just to get up there, especially on a very rainy day.
Okay.
Because that's when you're most likely to see something. I always wear a mask.
Okay.
Because the fibers of the insulation, you breathe that and that can cause problems. Or
Could there be bats up there?
Oh yeah, there can be.
How would I know?
Bats are in our area, and not too long ago I saw a couple in an attic.
Okay.
Almost stood up and put my head on one. So I was examining their droppings on the insulation and looked up, and there it was. Now, on the outside, bats are actually beneficial to have around because they will eat their weight in insects in a single night. But when they get into your home, that can be other issues because they can carry diseases, or sometimes they have rabies, and so you just don't want them in your house.
Okay.
So there are openings that have to be closed up so they can't get in. Mice can often be in an attic. They can make a mess, but they also can carry things. So you look for those kind of signs when you go up there, but the key thing is looking to see if there's any sign of leakage that might be going on, or cracks that might be developing in your rafters. A heavy snow load, if a rafter has a faulty area, and it'll start to crack. Mm-hmm. And under a heavy enough snow load, it will actually give way and break, and then you've really got problems.
Okay. Is that something your homeowner's insurance would cover?
Generally, but of course it's in the terms of what is actually in the policy.
Okay. So this is my kitchen. What would you look for in an area like this?
Okay, well, when I'll come into a kitchen, I'll check the electrical outlets.
Okay.
A little tester, and I'll put it in and see if it's ground fault protected. So you're grounded, so you're good there.
Good.
And you've got a working GFCI.
Great.
Say this is a regular outlet.
Uh-huh.
And you drop an appliance in the water and you go to grab it.
Like
Yeah, that's right.
No?
You can get a shock before a breaker will trip. But a GFCI is designed to trip before you can get a shock. It's like 0.2 milliseconds. They are very important to be within 6 to 8 feet of a water source, like a sink.
Okay.
Or a bathtub. I also, when I first come into the house, I come in the kitchen and I will open the dishwasher and make sure that there's nothing stored in there. Yeah, I found some interesting things stored in there.
I bet.
So there have been times I've been in a house that's been newly remodeled, brand new dishwasher, and water's coming out the bottom.
Oh, wow.
Usually a result of them not getting connected
Okay.
when they installed it. Then I look under the sink.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Well, I turn the water on and look for any sign of leakage from either of the drains. And then I will turn the disposal on, make sure it runs without leaking. And,
Does that sound normal?
Yeah. There's a lot of clanging and banging, there would be an issue. Maybe something in it.
Run the water like that.
Yeah.
Does that sound normal
That's
to
a
you?
normal sound, yeah. It's, as they get older, they get rusty inside, and they will just seize up.
Okay.
And it's time for a replacement. An electric stove, I'll make sure the burners are working. If it's a gas stove, I'll check the burners, but I will also pull it out from the wall enough that I can see down behind to make sure the gas connection is correct. I'll check and make sure the windows are operational. Okay, when I come in and I get my trusty tester, make sure the outlets are. Oh, that's a 2-prong in it. Okay, well, that's all right.
What does that mean?
That means it's original.
Okay.
This house is what, in the 40s, 50s?
57.
57. And they were still using Romex wiring that didn't have a ground conductor in it. I can't fault that because if that's how it was built, then that's okay.
Okay.
But if the problem is if somebody puts a 3-prong outlet there without a ground wire, then it's not grounded. But
So
if
those gray things aren't safe?
well, they don't ground it.
Okay. But they adapt it.
Well, they adapt it so you can plug in. It's not a good idea to paint over outlets because it can just make it very difficult for utilizing them.
That's the only reason though?
Yeah, and so the paint doesn't get in there also, but it's good to just remove the covers and paint them separately, and, you know. So make sure the window functions okay, and then it locks.
Okay.
And the locking is good even in the wintertime especially, not just for security, because that really helps the seal to cut down drafts. I look at the walls and the ceiling to see if there's any kind of cracking going on. And when you have cracks coming out from a door corner or a window corner, that can indicate that there may have been some settling take place.
Sure. Okay. Did you see how patchy this is?
That's from the finish work of the plastering. I did a little swirl stuff. That's just a decorative type of thing that they do.
That's decorative.
Well, where they used to do plastering, you know.
Looks like I did.
You can see the lines of the ceiling joists going there.
Is that normal?
Yeah, and especially over age. But
Okay.
if it was cracking along those, then that would be something to look into. I look at the condition of the floor, make sure it's okay, and that the wood's not damaged, or if it's carpeting, if it's not damaged.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah, it does.
It's a pretty nice little place.
Okay.
Is there anything in here that you would check other than outlets and windows? The same kind of thing, right?
Well, I check your fan light, make sure the fixture works and the lights work. No.
Okay, great.
And yeah, I would say that window's not accessible because of the headboard.
Right.
But anything that I can get to, I'd be very careful even with that one because you've got the TV in front.
Right.
Because I don't want to take a risk of damaging an appliance or something.
Sure. So maybe because the way this room is set up, you would not be checking windows in this room.
Yeah,
In this room.
right. I would probably try, if I could do it with one hand, just to make sure it works. But
Sure.
I'd be very careful around like a television or anything like that. Well, coming into the bathroom, I make sure that the fixtures work. I'll operate the plumbing, the sink, and the same way with the kitchen. Make sure that they don't leak. I'll flush the toilet, and I'll even give it a rock.
Oh boy.
Make sure it doesn't move. Now, there's just a slight loose. That's when I would just say you want to just kind of
Tighten a little bit.
snug it a little bit so that it doesn't move. The ones that really move, it's a danger of breaking the wax seal, and that allows leaks.
Okay.
So if it's really loose, then it really needs to be established.
Okay.
But I would recommend that be just snugged down so that there's no movement, and make sure that sinks are secured to the wall. Now, since your laundry is in here, I could not say much about this with these stacked units because I can't see what's behind it.
So you wouldn't pull them out?
No. But in an ordinary laundry situation, like in a basement, where they're sitting against the wall, I will note the type of drainage that it has, whether it's a drain going into the system or maybe into a sink. Just note that and make sure that everything's hooked up okay. And I'll note whether it's gas or electric and make sure that the piping or wiring for it is secured properly.
Okay. Those are not cleaned, and they should be videoed. This whole room should be like edited. Maybe completely out.
This is so common, I routinely check it.
Okay.
Because water will start to work on it. But this paint, when there's peeling paint, it should be scraped and repainted. But this area, at least if it can't be repaired, then that should be replaced because it was discontinued.
Is this final?
This part is. And they do make, what this is called brick mold, they do make that in vinyl now.
Okay.
So it's maintenance free. Structure, you got 2 to 6 rafters.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's fine. That's better and stronger than 2x4. But I'll look to see if there's any cracking or if any kind of leakage in your roof decking, which I don't see. Then I will operate the garage door. Looking for the contact reverse. And then the electric eye.
The electric eye. The electric eye.
Now with the pressure that I put on there, that should have self-reversed.
Okay.
Is a design so that if for whatever reason the electronics failed, that if a child or a pet got under there, it would go back up before it does harm. It should take very little pressure. And there are even setting knobs on your closer that you should be able to adjust that.
Okay.
This one's not for sale.
I know. But in a normal setting where I'm looking at working for the buyer,
Right.
then that's what I'm going to put out. And I'll look at the electric service drop on the outside and make sure that the cable works or looks okay.
Okay.
Saw one the other day where it was very frayed and starting to expose wires. So we'll make sure those are correct. I'll look at the fascia and the soffit. I'll get up on the roof.
Which one's which?
The soffit is what's underneath here. The fascia is that goes around the outer edges.
Okay.
And
What's the gutter?
The gutter is that trench that goes around the
Okay.
edge of the roof.
All right.
And then the downspouts. I always recommend you take water 6 to 10 feet away from the foundation. Now you've got a splash block, but you can see it's going uphill a little bit. And with the grade, it's going to wash the water back, and you don't want it to get near the foundation.
Okay.
So I'd recommend an extension on that, somehow that will take the water away from the foundation.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. Part 3 will be next week, and we'll be exploring my basement from sump pump to furnace.